Hi everyone, it's Donna from Olean, New York in America, and today we are featuring another special edition for our holiday series. We are going to be doing a wood-fired seafood bisque. Now, what is a bisque? Well, in America, it really refers to a creamy-based soup. And this is a really wonderful soup any time of the year, but again, at holiday time. Because I have Italian, Polish heritage in me, seafood is a big component to our Christmas and New Year's. So this time we're going to be going outside to the grill area, but I'm going to show you a special technique since seafood does not take very long to wood fire. So let's meet outside and get our seafood on the grill. Okay, so we're doing something different today, and that is we're going to be cooking over our chimney starter. Now again, seafood does not take a lot of time, and sometimes to fire up the entire grill, it's not really necessary unless you're going to be doing a whole assortment of grilled foods. And today we're not doing that with our soup. We just want to merely get some wood-fired flavor to our seafood. So I've set up my chimney starter with about 3/4 full of my charcoal. And I've put my mesh screen that you've seen me use before on our kettle grill underneath because I want to try to make sure I'm capturing all of those coals and keeping them maintained within this grilling area. This is in essence a grill. I am on a cylinder block, just a half block, and that's going to help to keep everything in place. So our intention today will be we're going to light our chimney. We're going to place a small grilling grate over the top, and this is just kind of a small kettle grill style. Then we're going to be adding wood chips to our hot coals. So the first step is just to get our fire lit, get this to burn down into hot embers, and then we will be ready to add our wood chips and get our seafood going. So let's just get our fire started. Okay, we're back, and as you can see, most of our coals are now just hot embers. We do have one still flaming, but that's fine. We're going to start off by getting our grate close by, and we're going to get our wood chips ready to go in. Now these are going to start to smoke right away because we are going directly onto hot coals. So again, today we're going to be using our fish, vegetable, and fruit custom bride blend, and it will just take a couple of handfuls right over those hot coals. And that's it. On goes the grate. Remember always to have your hot gloves ready. And immediately I'm going to be putting on a disposable cooking pan. Now I want my pan to heat up just a little bit, so I'm going to add just a tad of oil. I'm using a flavored Tuscan style oil. You'll see how quickly this is going to heat up as my oil starts to evaporate. So let's get talking about our seafood. For my seafood choices, now you can use anything, but I've elected to use some things that are pretty traditional for our Christmas, and that is shrimp, some mussels, some octopus, and we have here in America what's called an imitation crab, which is basically a pollock fish, and it's something similar in flavor to crab, but it's a lot less expensive. So I'm going to add just about 4 ounces or so of this. And you just want to let everything get combined. And remember, we're making a soup. So that means it will also be cooking still in the pot. And we don't want our seafood to shrink too far. So we are basically just doing a quick grilling technique to it. So this is going to take about 10 minutes or so. And then we're going to be removing it and going off to the kitchen to start our soup. Okay, it's been just about 10 minutes. And as you can see, we have nicely wood-fired seafood. Our shrimp is opaque. Our pollock has softened. Our mussels and our octopus have all tenderized. And as you can see, I still have some nice smoke going, which is adding the additional wood flavor to it. So this is ready to go into the kitchen where we can start on the ingredients for the seafood bisque. Okay, we have now gathered together the ingredients we're going to need for our wood-fired seafood bisque. And as you know, we've already wood-fired all of our seafood blend, which included oysters, octopus, our imitation crab, which is really a pollock, and our shrimp. So that has all been wood-fired, and that's already somewhat pre-cooked. So that's going to be the last ingredient into our soup. So in addition, we're going to need a whole milk, a whipped heavy cream, a small onion diced, 2 sticks of butter, 2 cloves of garlic, and I have minced mine. And mincing, remember, means to do a very fine dice, so as small a chunking as you can get. Tomato paste, all-purpose flour. Then I have some white wine. You can also use sherry, but use something in the white line. Then I have a cayenne pepper and an Old Bay seasoning. Now, for those that don't know, Old Bay seasoning is something commonly used with a seafood, and it is something that contains a red pepper, a black pepper. It also contains paprika and celery salt. So as you'll see, there's no salt or additional pepper for this, and that is because of these 2 seasonings. So in addition to our ingredients, you'll also need a soup stock pot. And you'll want one that's at least 2 quarts. So now we're ready to go to the kitchen and get our soup started. Okay, as we have mentioned before, this is going to be a cream-based soup, and that is what a bisque is. So whenever you make a cream-based soup, you need to start with a roux. Roux is basically a combination of a fat and flour. So for our fat, we're going to be using our 2 sticks of butter. So that's going into our stock pot first. And you want to make sure that your butter melts completely. So again, you'll have to judge your heat level. We don't want to scorch the butter, but we want to make sure that it gets completely melted. Once that's melted, we'll be adding our flour, and then you'll be whisking that together to develop a thick kind of paste. That's necessary in order to make any type of white sauce, or even if you're making gravy. So in America, our holiday of Thanksgiving, which is in November, that is a common time when people will make gravy from the turkey drippings. You'll save all the drippings from the turkey, put them onto a pot on the stove, and add a roux to develop a homemade gravy. And it's much healthier than doing one that's store-bought. So my butter being melted, I'm going to add my all-purpose flour now. And then we're just going to whisk that together. And you'll see this thicken. And again, you'll want to use a whisk because a whisk is going to ensure that you get a smooth consistency. Make sure you maintain temperature though, because it's very important for your roux to have a high heat level for making sure that the fat does not separate. Okay, and you can see my roux is well made. To my roux, I'm going to add the onion, and the garlic. Again, whisk everything together. And you're going to want to allow your aromatics to soften. And you can see I'm maintaining a consistent boil. Okay, once our aromatic, we're going to add additional aromatics, our Old Bay seasoning and our cayenne pepper. Same thing, make sure everything is whisked well together. Reducing my heat slightly now. I'm going to also add our tomato paste. And I'm using a concentrated tomato paste. I just prefer the flavor of it, but you can use just canned tomato paste is just fine. And again, whisking everything together. At this stage, you can most definitely smell the garlic and the peppers blending together. Now at this stage, I prefer to add my wine. I give that a quick blend, and you'll see how that lightens it up a little bit, but it will also thicken it. Now we're ready to start adding additional fat. So in small increments, I'm going to start adding my whole milk first and whisking that together. Now I've added about 2 parts of milk. I'm going to start to add the same in my cream. Again, 1 small part at a time. Because we're using a full quart of each, that's roughly 1 cup at a time. Milk again, and cream. Whisking everything together. And then we'll finish it off. And you'll start to see it take on the traditional bisque consistency, which is a well-coated spoon consistency. So if you were to stick a spoon in it, you want it to coat your spoon. Now you'll see the little bits of each of our aromatic starting to float through our soup base. And you'll end up with a light pinkish color, which is a traditional bisque color, especially in the northeast of America. Okay, we're going to leave that on a medium heat, and we're going to let that come to a boil. So I'm just going to put a cover on briefly, and then we'll be back for the finish. Well, welcome back. Our soup has finished its simmer. The seafood is heated through and we're ready to serve. This has been a wonderfully thick bisque soup with our wood-fired seafood combination, and it's just gorgeous. Let's give it a quick taste. So you'll see our mussels, our squid, our pollock, shrimp, all equally coated. It's just a beautiful, beautiful dish. The wine comes out. It balances so nicely with the grilled seafood. It's just got a nice, nice texture. If you prefer your seafood to not feel really mushy, this is a technique for you for sure. And sometimes what I like to do when I serve it is just give a little sprinkling of fresh parsley just for an extra added flavor. So this is our wood-fired seafood bisque done using the chimney starter. Now coming into the new year as we approach our 2022 incoming year, we're going to present to you some of the things that we like to do in America for our New Year's celebrations. So stay tuned for those episodes. We'll have some special cocktails that you can be enjoying at the beginning of the year. And we'll be featuring one of our special meats that is commonly done for a New Year's celebration. So this is Donna from Olean, New York in America, wishing you happy cooking in the kitchen or wood fire it up on the grill.